You cannot manage opioid addiction. So we have to figure out how are people going to live in chronic pain after this, in spite of this terrible addiction that they now have. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do that. But I think we're kidding ourselves if we pretend that somehow they're going to be able to figure out how to ration their OxyContin to deal with the chronic pain that they have.
St. John University played host to a roundtable discussion on opioid addiction led by Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and State Senator Diane Savino. One major focus was to change the guidelines on doling out prescriptions for acute pain and to educate the population on addiction that has plagued Staten Island and the rest of New York.
I hurt my back. Very quickly they tried to prescribe me painkillers. I accepted them. They helped me. Periodically they upped the dose and it became to an absurd amount. By that time I was absolutely hooked. I was helpless. For 6 years I was an addict. There was nothing I could do. I had to wake up in the morning. Before I even got out of bed, I had to take a pill just to even start my day. Acute pain should not be given opioids. They're extremely strong. They're very, very addictive.
Every overdose that I hear about, not every, but so many of them, 18-year-old boys, 22-year-old boys, 24-year-old boys, and all starting with a sports injury, right, or a wisdom tooth, or a broken wrist, or they fell off a ladder while painting a house. You know, former captains of the wrestling team, right, former Boy Scouts. Like, these are good kids who the first time an opioid enters their system, they're young, and it is by their doctor.
Beyond overprescribing, there's a tremendous need for education. Families are bringing their loved ones into the ER and leaving. And it's a desperate cry for help. They need respite. The person they're dropping off does not want treatment at that point, but people are forced to come in because their families are trying desperately to get them to engage on some level for treatment.
Well, one of the reasons why we're asking the CDC to issue these guidelines is that too often doctors are prescribing very large prescriptions for acute pain. So let's say you have your wisdom tooth out. You don't need a 30-day supply of Percocet. You just don't need it. You could probably get by with extra strength Tylenol for the 2 or 3 days that you're in discomfort. And if your family has a history of addiction, why should you be giving a highly addictive drug with a 30-day supply? I don't know how you wouldn't be addicted after 30 days of taking that. So we just need more sensible policies, and the CDC has a role and a responsibility. They just issued those guidelines for chronic pain. So someone who has chronic back pain, they've issued the guidelines about addictiveness and level of drugs and appropriateness of patients, but they didn't do it for acute pain, and they need to.